I'm going to show you what it is like to wrap two babies, two different wraps that I use. I have one super long, size 7/8 woven wrap. It takes a little while to even get through the yards of fabric. Oh, sister. My twins are 11 months old. They're both just over 20 pounds each. I used to carry each of them in this one wrap. It got to be too heavy for me, so I have transitioned into another way of carrying them both. So I find the middle marker. This is a Hoppediz woven wrap. I take it and I put it right in the middle of my chest, and I wrap it behind me all the way. And what I'm doing is I'm taking each side and crisscrossing it over each shoulder. And since these are very long tails, it takes me just a tad longer. If I'm doing this outside, this one kind of fell down, so I need to kind of make a scene. So I kind of step over the tails and try not to trip over them, and I'm also pulling my shirt down in the back. And I've got twins who really want to be wrapped up. They like that comfort, so they're also helping to pull on the tails. And pull your shirt down. Your back should look like this now. I'm trying to turn around a little bit more. I'm tripping over little people. Okay. Alright. Thank you. Got it. And so I like to make it tighter to start with. The tighter it is, the longer or the more secure the baby feels. The reason why I like to wrap this way, this is a version of a front wrap cross carry. I grab each of those, just like I grab a little piece, and I pull it, and I scooch it up a little bit more, and I pull it, and I just gather a little bit more, and I pull it like every kind of teeny little pinch of fabric. And that's made a very secure fit back. And I might want to pull my shirt down again, because now I'm going to unfortunately loosen it up a little bit. And as you can see, my middle marker's moved over just a little bit, which has never really bothered me too much. It could be the way I was tightening it or cinching the fabric. But I gather up my tail, and I move under here, underneath, and I grab this first tail, and I pull it straight down. And I still want it to be as tight as possible. And I spread it out. And I might pull on the fabric a little bit more the same way. And so now this fabric right here, this front panel has kind of loosened a little bit, and it's definitely not, covering my whole torso anymore, but I grab the bottom of this tail, and I kind of pull it down. I like this way because I can pre-wrap this at home. This is such a large wrap. It's important to make sure that these are not twisted. If it gets twisted, it gets uncomfortable. They're kind of digging into you. Spread it out a little bit. And I like to move this down. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I've got these two spread out a little bit. This is the front panel. This is the part that I'm going to put behind my child. A variation of this is that the child goes here, and these wraps, which are going to crisscross, go on the outside. I put the wraps on the inside and set my child in there, and then, put that behind. So I cross these like this. I try to keep them as flat as possible. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll just yank them across. So I cross these to make an X, and I wrap it behind me. And as you can see, normally that's where you could tie it, but this is a very long wrap. So whichever side seems to be yielding more fabric, I will take it and I will tie it up at the corner of my hip, because I wrapped it around. That's what I've done. I've crossed them, and I wrapped them around one time, and instead of being able to tie it in the back, that's still a lot of fabric being left over, dragging on the ground. So kind of turn it around on my hip, and it's a little bulky. It's one downside of having such a large wrap, but it works. So I can get in the car, and I can drive like this, etc. Second baby. I do not. This is the last baby to be put in, first baby to take out. So I have right here my Onya Outback, and I'm just gonna, this is the hood part, which for like sun or rain or whatever. I'm tucking this back in there. My Twinkies must have pulled it out. It's not necessary for right now. So I'm just closing up, folding this piece down. So that's nice and pretty. I'm unsnapping all the snappy snaps. And so what I do is I will take my carrier, and normally I have a chair or use my car. And this is my second, this is the Twinkie who usually she goes in back. She likes the back. Say hi, Sandra. Or I can sit on the bed. She's a little fussy right now. She wants to get in the lap. So I'm just going to sit on the bed. And it's hard to see what I'm doing, so I'm going to try to turn her sideways, and really can't position the camera lower. Okay, so I've laid the wrap on the bed. I'm going to scoot this one aside. She's taken off, but let's see if I can get this to work. I take the buckle part and I wrap it around my opening. You ready to come in, sis? And I'm buckling it to the side. Now that's my torso, it's buttoned. Alright. And I take her and I kind of put her up, hanging on my neck a little bit. Don't be mad, sis. This is much easier to do in a chair. So in a chair, I have my armbands buckled. But on this bed, where she's got no back support or nothing to lean against, I want to do that. So I'm going to take her, and she's hanging off like the back of my neck. I'm going to sit her. Here, she's pulling my hair a little bit. That's not fun. If I can get her to let go of my hair. Alright. Hang on 2 seconds, Bubby. So she's not in the arms. But one thing is this needs to be tightened. This is the waist. So just to get her on, there's a lot of pulling and tightening, cinching. Yeah. I want to make sure that this waist part is as tight as it can be. This part. Okay. Alright. So now she is quite content. Her arms can come out here if she chooses. Sometimes I'm tightening it up just a little bit more, but it feels maybe too tight.
Pass the test again.
Awesome. Okay. I want to tuck this under my wrap. This is just a band. There we go. So sister's still secure in there. All right, Graham. So that's the hard part. Now it's not fair for Sissy to get to be carried around. La 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 la, la la la, and who wants to just So what I do is I grab him and I'll put him up on my shoulders, and I'll take one leg and I'll put it in like this, and I take the wrap and I kind of cover his booty. Yeah, that's right. And then I take the other. Are you looking at your brother? I kind of shimmy him down. My advice to put your hair up in a ponytail, and I take these and I spread these both across his booty and his back. And he's a little high up because I made it so tight. And you can change that, but right now I'd rather him be tight and secure. And I cannot nurse in here. Obviously, my breasts are here and his head is way up here. If I were to move it lower, I could, you know, but you know, I'm taking this wrap. My middle marker has made its way, you know, down there, and I pulled this back panel, and so he's real close to me, and this is how I could carry them. If I did it looser, then I could, you know, bring him down, but he likes, I have this, you know, prewrap. I could loosen this up by untying this and kind of pulling a little bit. But as I'm taking him in and out repeatedly, this just naturally gets looser. So I like to start off tighter if I needed to. I could kind of jump to like tousle him around. You know, I could kind of trap him with the side panels. Right now, he doesn't like to be trapped like that. He wants his arms out. Okay. And so, I've got sister in the back, brother in the front, and both babies. And I can carry them like this for a few hours at a time. Uphill gets a little bit more challenging. If this wrap gets to be a little too tight on my shoulders, I can kind of pull it down a little bit. You know. One of the things that I really like about doing this is like I can take a blanket. I feel like he's getting cold, and I could, you know, like put it through like this. I mean, I just have to cover up my. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a larger jacket that I wear. I can put it around her, and I can keep going. Or I could do the same thing with the blanket for her. But she's content. She's quite happy. He's happy as long as I'm moving. You know, so back and forth, back and forth. And, you know, this is a little sloppy down here. You know, where I've double knotted this wrap, and it's kind of, you know, some loose fabric, which would allow me to, you know, I tickle some toesies. If I want to loosen it up, I could, but, you know, like on this one, it seems like I might feel like she's leaning back a little much, so I would probably just, I'm going to try to adjust her back down, and as long as I feel that her bottom is here, look at this, then I'm content. Sometimes I can feel that this is a little too tight right here, my armpits. So, like wearing like a tank top probably wouldn't, you know, suffice. So I can just pull all the t-shirt. I know. You're much happier now instead of being, you know, on the floor or crawling around. And, you know, I can get them to fall asleep in here. It's hard to do housework with two babies, and it's much easier in the car than sitting down, but I can do it sitting down on the bed. You know, it takes a little bit more finagling. But, you know, he's content. He's quite happy. I feel like he's secure. If I, you know, ever question, I can just kind of check the placement of these wraps. There, you know, his bum. And this is just kind of another secure way to do so. And now, I'm so sorry, babies. I'm just giving you lovin's. Alright, so now when I want to take them out, I pull Bubby up. And I can transpose them. They prefer their positions, you know, right now. You know, he prefers to be in front and she prefers to be in back. And oh, you got my face. Okay. Okay. Hop on down. I'm sorry. He did not want to get out. As you can see, this is really loose now. And that's why I like to start off tight. But I can still put him in. And then for sister, you know, I can even do this in my car, which is the easiest way for me to do it, actually. I leave this bottom hook hooked right here. This is a hook. I leave it hooked. What I will do is I will sit down and adjust this so you can see. And this is the fun part that I like. And then she'll crawl out, and then I'll unhook it, and I leave this tied so I can drive with this on. But I have 2 babies who are out. They've been wrapped up, and they are quite happy.